I 100%ed New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, and Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury twice, and now I'm gonna review them because I don't know what else to do right now. Starting with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, but it's not really deluxe, so I'm not even gonna talk about the new stuff. Okay, so the New Super Mario Bros. Series has a reputation of being very safe and mediocre, at least now it does. Apparently the first game was a lot better, but guess which one I didn't play? And after replaying this, I think I can say that it's okay. They try to switch things up a little bit, but it's just not enough. All the worlds are now interconnected, and most secret exits lead to one secret level, and when you beat that, you can skip ahead to a future world, and that's the most common thing they do with that. This is the only part of the game that does something else with the new world map. I've played Super Mario World, you will never be as cool as that game. No original bosses, all the same world themes. You can't fool me with this food thing. No. Most levels are pretty sterile, you're kinda just going through the motions and not really anticipating anything. And obviously me already fully finishing the game had to do with it, but I just couldn't be bothered to find a good number of secrets myself. I just looked them up on the Mario Wiki. By the way, until this year, I didn't even get true 100% on the Switch 1. I missed one secret exit, so what would I do without you, Mario Wiki? I don't know if I would have gotten this if I already had a Wii U, but I didn't have a Wii U. I never have. My only experience with it was with the Mario Maker demo in stores. And look at this, they didn't even know what to put on the back of the box. Play as Toadette and Peachette. I only did that on my first playthrough of New Super Luigi U. Speaking of which, this was originally DLC for the Wii U version, but it might as well be its own game, and now it comes with Deluxe for free. All the levels were completely remade to be shorter, faster, harder, and designed with Luigi attributes, jumping higher and sliding around more. It might be better, but it's still a New Super Mario Bros. And I used a walkthrough the whole time because I just wanted to be done with it. I also never got the 5th star in my first playthrough of that either, but I didn't use a walkthrough nearly as much on this game. I'll talk about 3D World later, but at the time, Odyssey had a lot more hype for being structured more like Super Mario 64, where instead of just going through the level, you have more open areas to freely explore and find the power stars or shines or moons in this game's case. And it also does a lot of new stuff. In the other 3D Marios, you leave once you get the thing, but here you just get the moon and you can keep exploring. Instead of power-ups, you capture, not possess, capture things that give you special abilities, but you can't play the kingdoms in any order, so these games already get their own point. You might have heard this before, but the game also has an issue with padding. You want to know how many unique power moons there are? 880. And then you have to buy extras from the shop to max out the moon counter to 999 to unlock 2 or 3 other things. Thankfully though, just like the other 3D Marios, you don't need to get every moon to beat the game, and because every kingdom has a bunch of them, you're gonna find them faster than you might think. And of course, not every moon is fun. The volleyball moon, the jump rope moon, the achievements, buying moons from the store, which is at least funny and cool, but it's also very clearly just filler. A lot of moons where you just ground pound a specific spot, catching these birds is annoying. Even outside the moons, you have to buy all the costumes, collect all the purple coins so you can buy all the souvenirs, capture everything you can capture, and you have to find all the music. If you're looking to do everything in this game, it might be more of an endurance test for some of you. Maybe not as much for others though, because every kingdom has different gameplay gimmicks, as well as much better theming than past Mario worlds. Before you had a desert, forest, beach, sky, that kind of stuff, and some kingdoms are more generic than others, but in this game, these kingdoms are now Mexico and Aztec-type ruins, robots growing a massive garden, a volcano area made of food with 2 polygons maximum, Bowser's castle is now a floating Japanese palace. And actually playing the game feels really good, going crazy with rolling around, ground pound jumping, then wall jumping, throwing Cappy behind you and diving onto the edge, long jumping and grabbing an object before you land, and then jumping continuously to maintain your speed. It's all so epic, but sometimes I feel like I don't need all these moves. Spin jumping is completely useless, and just spinning is only good if you want to do this without motion controls, especially if you're using the Pro Controller, which I probably shouldn't have done, but we all know Joy-Cons aren't exactly built to last, so I think that's all I have to say about Odyssey for now. This game somehow felt longer to finish though. Before I talk about that, however, people were underwhelmed by this game's announcement in 2013 since they were expecting the Wii U's 3D Mario game to be more like 64 and Sunshine instead of 3D Land again, which was already structured after New Super Mario Bros. So the levels are shorter, more linear, and the gameplay is much more streamlined in general, including your moveset, which might let you do more than in 3D Land, but you still can't go as crazy as these games let you. On the Switch version though, you have two significant changes. Your movement speed is much faster, and you have a new dive roll. It might have been turbo nerfed, but it does allow you to get a little fancier with movement. But even so, this more limited moveset may not appeal to the sweat. On the flip side of that though, you could say all these restrictions also encourage the player to find more enjoyment out of exploring, since that's the selling point. Mario games usually don't pressure you to learn the movement anyway, because that would also decrease their broad appeal. Oh, but one actual big problem is depth perception. The game is always using a fixed camera, and it's always in favor of the level over the player, making it a little hard to see exactly where you're going. I tested it in 3D Land for a bit, and it's not great either. If we're being fair to that game though, not only is the camera much more zoomed out on its home console version, but 3D Land was specifically designed for the 3DS display. So what's this game's excuse? Consistency? Screw consistency. I like the power-ups in 3D World. Is it just... Damn, my tab just closed on me for no reason. Is it just me, or do the power-ups in 3D Mario games that have them feel kinda lame? You can't keep them once you get the star, you can't use most of them outside the main levels, and I'm pretty sure it's because they were designed for very specific levels in mind with the properties they have. I think that's why Sunshine and Odyssey just ditched them. They couldn't really find the fun of power-ups in their respective structures, so they tried something completely different instead. In 3D World, I no longer feel restrained by the designers, because I'm actually powering up instead of just playing the game slightly differently. And if you're looking for a positive of making 3D Mario more like the 2D games, then I guess this is here. Now, some of you may or may not find 100%ing this game to be as intimidating as Odyssey. In order to finish everything, you have to collect all stars, all stamps, 5 of which have to be obtained by beating every level as every character, and reach the tippy top of the flagpole at least once in every level. Most of these requirements aren't too bad. I still only used a walkthrough for a few parts, and there was only one level that I actually thought was unfair at first. Look at this. How was I supposed to notice that? The every character part, though, will definitely test your patience, even more if you do it with my method, which was to cycle through characters on a single level until I had nothing else to do there anymore. It probably wouldn't have been as tedious if I didn't switch characters until I already beat every level with them, but I didn't mind it that much since all of them play differently enough for me to notice some difference in how the level played out. And I think I finished right before I could actually consider that method boring for me, and I think that's it. Oh, also the final boss isn't nearly as cool as the one in 3D Land, and it's specifically because it had to be designed with multiplayer in mind. I haven't played multiplayer long enough for a concrete judgment though, so... Bowser's Fury. This game returns to Odyssey's style of level design, where you have a big open world to explore and find all the cat shines, this time with every major area loaded into the same map. But you also can't stay in these areas to collect every shine they have right away. Instead, you have to collect a shine somewhere else for previously discovered areas to update with a new mission. Odyssey already has moons you can't get right away, but I think this does a better job of encouraging and rewarding exploration. You can get most moons in a kingdom in one session, but this forces you to always be on the run, even when Bowser isn't active yet. Oh yeah, sometimes he'll show up to crash out, and then you grab the Gigabell and initiate a kaiju battle. I just wish the fights against him were harder. You wanna know something funny? I guarantee the only reason 3D World's camera works as it does is because they wanted it to feel even more like the 2D games. But as we know, the reason that sucks is because it's not a 2D game. But here, the camera is focused on Mario, and now I can actually see see. It's weird how a linear structure isn't inherently a worse one, and yet this issue has been fixed by making the game more like Odyssey. Theming of the setting is better, the level design itself is varied and Mario-y as usual. It's also pretty short, only 100 shines needed for 100%. And this time, I didn't use a walkthrough at all, so I'd say this was the most pleasant 100% experience. And that is what I have to say after I 100%ed these Mario games again.